Save that broadcast info. And I think we're back up with mic sound. Do we have sound from the... Let's get this out of the way. No. Yeah. Do we now have game sound? Yeah, we even have game sound. Great. Thank you. Thanks for that. As someone who streams yourself, like, do you find having these like hardware problems the whole time? I hope that eventually I'm going to work out everything enough so that it's just easy, but every single time I go to stream, it feels like there's some new bit of setup to be done. I added, on your advice, through Streamlabs, the thing which says if someone follows. So that's got better. Let's make him less likely to die. It's so boring in this game when one of your characters dies. Like, and it is your fault when one of your characters dies, but it doesn't feel like deeply your fault. Why did I build this? I don't know. Seems fine. So amongst other things, this means all of the interesting things I just said have got lost. I wasn't saying that much that's interesting. It might take a while. These guys, I would like to give them some more healing, but I want what's in the boat. Actually, sometimes in the boat there's an enemy, so it'd probably be best not to set that off at this moment. Oh, that's the edge of my territory. That's really disappointingly close. Why is the border almost invisible? Is that it? Screw it. Let's go see what's in the boat. I'm not going to risk it. Sometimes these guys are strong.
The waves whisper to us.
Can I still... No.
With the wind.
Can I get onto... No.
Setting course. All's ready.
Yeah, I have the issue of I do change my hardware around a lot because I'm still kind of deciding what sort of thing I want to be streaming. Like some days I'm like, I'm an educational stream, and some days I'm like, I'm just a person who happens to have a camera on while I play Total War. And also I'm streaming on all kinds of different devices. I'm all over the place basically. I'm trying to do like 15 things at once, and I should stop that. What's this? Probably not too important. Oh, the map is weirdly... That makes more sense. It's weird how much it can change the game turning the map around. What if I play this way around? Oh, I don't like it. Something really feels made about the game going this way around, but let's try it for a bit. Alright, I'm not doing anything particularly important. I'm building everything I can, but I actually have more money coming in than I need, so let's go back to not taxing people, given that they're incredibly unhappy. So I've been playing the Total War games for a lot of the time that I've been playing games, and I'm not one of those people who thinks like, why doesn't the series work exactly how I want it to work? But I do look at them and think over and over again, I wish this thing was a little bit different.
For the lady. I go.
Can I do that from the ocean?
Bretonians advance.
Yes.
For the lady!
Search ruins. Okay, so we got a little
The
Sudoku
sun
puzzle.
goes down on us.
So it's a little logic puzzle of what can go in this thing, and although I should get a piece of paper and do it properly, I'm just going to do it in my head. Yeah, that's never quite gelled for me. I do like, ever since I played Napoleon, I could never go back to the old reinforcement mechanism. That was one of the few things that they changed, and I was like, this is
Such a question.
absolutely has to be in there. Um, which kind of sucks. This is one of the things that's difficult about features. Like, I'd like to go back and replay some of Medieval 2, but I know I'll get really frustrated that, like, I used to play that game, and you start out with some good units, and then there's no way to replenish them. So I would just have like an almost dead unit of Knights Crusaders for a few hundred years. One of the big things that I think they tried to fix in Rome 2 and did an okay job of is having armies level up rather than generals, such that you can't lose as much progress. They also had generals and they had weird political systems. I think I should go back and replay some more Shogun 2. I think that was a really solid across the board space for thinking, space for having fun. I like the big monsters and things in the Total War series. They add a lot without taking much away from the tactics, but sometimes you just lose based on the enemy has a giant spider and you have nothing that can kill a giant spider. Anyway, let's do this puzzle. So that's 4 blues. So that's 1 red. That must be blue. And it must be 4, so that's 4 blues as well. 4 blues, 4 blues. Which makes that 2 purple. 4 blue, 4 blue, 1 red, 2 purple. So this can be 1 or 3, blue or red. This needs to be one of blue or red as well, but if it was red, then that would cross over. And actually we only have the option of this one, so it is, I think, this one. I'm going to double check all that logic again quickly. So that can't be red, and we need to have a red in this row, so that's red. And it can't be 1, can't be 2, that's 4 blue, so it's 3 red. Yeah. Aren't I glad about how much state money has gone into my mathematics education? I am. I'm very glad about how much money has gone into my state money has gone into my mathematics education. Thank you, the state. Also a lot of my own. Even here where the dead should long be at rest, there's evil stirring that of course must be cleansed from the soil. It's such over the top language, like, unsurprisingly. Hey! I don't think the thing worked, but I got a sound. Oh, yeah. As you thought, the alert box actually didn't work because it was below the display capture. Now it should work. Thank you for hosting me.
Is it time?
The followers are weird, like, why should I have 6 things? Both the maximum, which is the maximum I can add to my person. Like, there's a lot of arbitrariness in the rule sets. Can I do that this turn? No. Do I want to colonize that? Another thing that gets me down about the Total Wars is, and this is something that I've heard a lot of people say, at the very start there is a clear goal which is just survive, grow a little bit to have a little bit of security. And then there's this middle period where you just have to keep on growing, but you haven't yet really got to the point where you've got the really interesting, really like high tier units, because you're still quite early in the game and you just grow because growing is the thing it's good to do. Do I trust these guys to not be wiped out? I think I do. I think I'd rather upgrade Martek, particularly because it's got a gold mine. No, it's an iron mine. Oh, and the Kofa docks are... Let's go with that. Alright. Can you remember how to make this overlays thing go away? Oh, it's because I zoom out. I'm going back to looking at it north, I can't deal with it. So these guys have a water mechanic, which... Interesting mechanic to add, and maybe will be significant at some point, but it's quite basic.
Cooler climes.
It's just they can't be away from water for too long. That would actually be a cool thing to have had in Napoleon. I should go back and replay Napoleon. I thought that was a really cool game.
Lady calls me.
I think I'm probably, if I take this, putting myself very much in the firing line from
With return
Khemri,
fire.
but that's probably going to be quite interesting, so let's do it. Generally a fan of getting whatever resource produced first. Not that it's that important here. Also, I can't build many other buildings. I actually need a windmill somewhere, but it doesn't have to be here. Let's have another go at seeing if you guys will trade with me.
Honor to your ancestors. Doubtful.
I would love a paradox style, just a simple number of like, will they accept an alliance or not, rather than this magic, like maybe they will, but actually you click it and they don't. I think that was something done really well in the like, why would these guys not want to trade with me? It's completely perplexing. Like, we both benefit, we're both on the same side, we're pretty good friends.
Valiant. Welcome, friends. Let's hope we can. Lord,
Just checking occasionally if these guys will join a confederation. No one else really likes me enough to think about trading with me. What are my other missions? Where's Cobra Pass? Yeah, I can do that. Why is Sartre a character in the Warhammer universe? Or at least in the Total Warhammer universe? Oh, they all are. They're all famous philosophers, probably. I don't actually know who Pierre Dardenne is. 4 questing knights, and I'll get that banner. Then Descartes famously hated skeletons. That's actually why he invented the Cartesian coordinate system. I can't even make a good joke about that. Maintain one whole province, and then slay the Spire, which is a wonderful mission title, and for anyone who hasn't played it, a fantastic game. So there's a lot of... Oh no, I thought this was empty. It is not. I could probably take that from these Gobbo guys. Southern Badlands is one of those really boring regions that I don't even want to have, because you just have to go there occasionally to spend money on buildings. I all the time come back to Sid Meier's design decisions and him just saying, make every decision interesting, make every... And I think one of the things that he and the people working with him really did well, that pushed that decision forward, was really reducing the number of decisions you have. acknowledging that a lot of the time in a game you're not really playing out decisions, you're just doing pretty much the right thing. Skeletal things in the desert. That seems much more powerful. Okay, what do we want to research? I don't actually want peasant mob units particularly. That seems fine, but not that worth it. Income from farms plus 2%. What an exciting technology to get. And this, maybe I'll make this whole stream about comparing creative assemblies design decisions to Firaxis design decisions. But this, and the same is true of Paradox and many strategy game creators. Even if, let's say I had 50 bushels of apples coming in, and technology gave me plus 1 bushel of apple, I would prefer that to plus 2% incomes from farms. If I get through all of these, I get, 5% more incomes from farms. Like, it goes up until I'm getting kind of rich from farms, but actually that in itself means that farms, which feel like an early game thing, aren't that good yet. I might go for this because I'm likely to need it soon. Or I could go for this to try and get that city off them. Let's do that. So the missions on me at the moment. Oh, Salt Plain was destroyed by someone. It was probably destroyed by Khemri.
She speaks, I listen.
Again, if the border is visible here, I cannot see it. These, though, I think are pretty beautiful, these marshes. Kind of head of the Nile stuff.
In Bretonia's name.
The maps in these games are completely gorgeous, and you often are operating on quite a far out level from them. Like, I feel like you sometimes don't get to enjoy how much care and detail has gone in, because you're in this fantastical world. Like, eking out an existence on this almost completely inhospitable... What's that? Dudes, if you're worried about why you keep on being attacked by skeletons, it's probably because you have this incredibly... If skeletons want anything from you, it's probably that building. Or you go close to this and you get a kind of noise. Little pyramid. Oh yeah, look, there is Settra himself. How is everyone feeling about my happiness? So a lot of the unhappiness is coming from difficulty level, a little bit from corruption. Corruption is on its way out, though. If I get rid of that bit of corruption, I'm still negative on public order or control. That's not going to change it. I guess I've got to build something that makes people happy. Uh-huh. Okay. I thought that was quite likely to happen. They've had war declared against them, and my city is quite far away from their borders. So I feel at peace to just completely leave, head back to my main region.
Time to march.
We can go back via
Taking up positions.
the city. This is not a strong, very defensible position. That's a bit of an issue. I have 2 population surplus. Ah, level 3 towns give me walls. That's really good news.
De Leon.
You really don't like being taxed. I get it. That makes sense. I might have a rebellion, which I might not need to worry too much about. I'm sometimes shocked when a battle starts in this. I'll look at the forces and be like, yeah, this looks pretty even, and then it will be hugely skewed one way or another. And I always feel kind of bad, but sometimes you start a battle and you're like, this is going to be a tight battle, and then the battle calculator's like, you're going to win easily, and you're like, I know this isn't true, but I'm going to click auto resolve because I'd rather Tavern or barracks.
Réponse de Leon.
I'd rather have it sooner, basically. So I've just noticed there isn't actually a road from Zandri to Alhaik. Quickest way to get there is by sea.
At once.
Apparently there's storms in the
It
region.
is not the lady's will.
Is there storms? Does this look like storms to you? That looks like a storm.
For Britonia, for the lady.
I mean, I guess we've got some white horses. It's not the most terrifying storm. Oh, they've added a little lighthouse in Sartosa. Oh, I like that a lot.
I require your all.
After saying all that stuff about maybe don't have the clear sarcophagus building in your territory to my allies. I have a clear sarcophagus building in my territory.
Do you know who I am? The lady grants you safe passage. I refuse.
Ready. Aye.
Trade
Let's hear
with
what you
me.
know about me.
There's no reason not to trade with me. Wait, will they
An
do I have to get military
honor to
access?
your ancestors.
I do, and they won't give it to me.
My dynasty reigns supreme.
Oh, the Black Tower of Archon is not the Black Pyramid of Gash. But still, seems like it might be a good place to to control. So Khemri might provide a unique building chain. The Black Pyramid provide a unique building chain. Wizard's Palace won't. All these other places won't. It's also, I feel like maybe I should go and meet the elves just so I can start trading with them. I'll have that in a sec. I'm gonna not tax these guys because that would be making me almost no money. And focus instead on saving my province up here. Also, something that's really difficult for designers of these games that always makes them feel unfair is that you have to, if you want a competitive AI, you have to let them cheat. We pretty much simply... Ooh. Wow, this is a good choice. I need that income. Because you just can't make an AI that's smart enough to really challenge a human. So eventually I should build a clay pit. First though, I think I want a windmill, because I think I want to start growing a farm economy here.
Ah, yes.
Can you make it? You can.
All for the lady.
Let's check again if these guys will trade with me.
To your ancestors. No.
No. That's crazy. Oh, we're now deteriorating.
Protector, welcome to fair Britonia. I must decline.
Must you decline, or are you choosing to decline? I'm halfway through. It sounds crazy to be halfway through a YouTube video, but well, I think it's a YouTube series on how the AI of these games is actually written. Because whether I like it or not, and if you stick around for long, you'll find that I really don't. I have to code all the time. You can't really be a scientist in the modern world without actually your job being that of a programmer.
I listen.
So it is really fascinating to hear how these AIs are working from a methods perspective, from a how do we make a computer do this complex task of providing meaningful opposition to a human player. And there's lots of space for a computer to be clever. There's lots that you can do, but there are some places which a computer will just, particularly in a game like this where there's so many options, there's so many pieces that can come together,
My will is
that you can play around and eventually find a way to just completely cheese a computer. Almost always. There, with a bit of work. Should I make her a bit stronger? I probably will, yeah.
Réponse de Leon.
More salt. I would make more salt. My control is now at 0, which is good. I'm kind of tempted to go and nick the Pools of Despair. also slightly tempted to actually spawn these rebels, which probably means,
In the lady's name.
yeah, let's do it. So both Kofa and Al Hakik have walls. They have relatively strong garrisons. So it's Martek that I'm in any particular fear about losing. Now that I've got tax back on, I'm earning an okay amount of money. I can keep bothering these guys. They still won't accept. I love the idea that these guys are close to running out of water just outside of the borders of my city. I can't see how these guys can not win this battle. Ah, so the Kemrians have attacked the Vakaf dynasty. So if I'm not careful, the Kemrians are attacking everyone, and they probably will win because they are the kind of the fated ones.
For Britonia, for the lady.
I would quite like that. Particularly, I would like to deny
Yes, ready.
the Kemrians from having it.
The lady.
No, it's not the Kemrians, sorry, that will have it. It must be the Vakafs who attacked it.
The heat is cruel. For justice.
There's these really strong
Your
things that happen at like 50% movement range. You lose a lot of options, and it's not made too clear to you when you're going to go over that that point. Why am I looking at this? She do have a sword. Or any weapon. Kofa got upgraded. Is this industry?
such relentless heat.
No, I don't have any income from industry, so it's fine to do this, and it will make me quite a lot of money, and I'll get cool alternative archers. Imminent rebellion, I feel fine about. Does that mean that they will spawn at Kofa? Yeah, thinking about it. So I'm still thinking about this question of like where do all of the mechanics of the Total War games that I really value come together? And a lot of them first come in Napoleon. I also think garrisons are great because I think having to make armies to just sit in a place is not fun. Generally, my thesis is that recruiting units is not fun. I don't think it feels like a positive decision. I think I really like games where either your units come from buildings, so that you're making buildings and then the units come out when they need, or where units are continuously being produced and you're just deciding what they want. So an example of the first would be Crusader Kings and the second would be Hearts of Iron. Why are you raiding me?
She speaks, I listen.
She speak. Yeah, what are you doing?
I will not blight my soul.
Who are you? Oh, you are the rebels. That makes more sense. So I'm going to risk it. I'm going to risk going down and grabbing this while I have the chance. Skaven. Huge Skaven stack. Probably could have realised that that might happen. Alright, let's get back into my territory.
Armored in the laws of chivalry demand peasants.
Trade with me! Everyone else hates me.
The sun pours down on us.
This is not a weak Skaven army. I mean, it's all clan rats, which are not very strong, but it's a solid 20 stack of clan rats with shields, silver level. Great, I can upgrade Sandry. That's my first priority. If I have any leftover money, I don't. I can't recruit because she's running about. This army, right now, shouldn't be able to stand up to walls. So I think I'm fine. I'd like to think about getting another army and start going around doing some questing. Okay. You just did some raiding. The Bretonnians love me now, which should mean actually they don't completely love me yet, that eventually these guys will trade with me. The other weird thing about trade in this game is it's actually a costless exercise. Trade is only gain. So I got a Barded Warhorse. Missile resistance. Yeah, I like bonus versus large. It's just good to have a thing that does bonus versus large in your army. Also bonus versus infantry. I think I've got both now, although they can't both be shown. So let's get to Alhaik. Pegasus Knights, Trebuchet. This isn't a nothing army. That's probably my priority first. Now 666 money left. But I'm earning pretty nicely now, and I'm so these technologies that cost money are an interesting idea. I also like the Warhammer universe. Something that I think is lovely about it is it's kind of a mishmash of different historical points. The world of Bretonnia is very late Middle Ages, with deciding between a peasant-based farm economy or a serf-based farm economy or a peasant-based, I don't know what we would call them, but a industrial economy. And that's kind of what I'm being asked here, like, do I want to be an industrialist or a I can be immune to different kinds of attrition? That seems pretty cool. I can make paladins stronger, I can make damsels stronger, Don't have any damsels. That seems great. Let's head towards that. Whereas the Empire is very much Enlightenment era, turn of the Gunpowder Age, Holy Roman Empire, and dwarves in their way are past that. Like they're kind of Da Vinci's helicopters and kind of what you might imagine as sci-fi of the Enlightenment era. It's approaching a bit Journey to the Center of the Earth, 2000 Leagues Under the Sea. That isn't good. That isn't ideal. I would quite like these guys to not disappear. Okay, we got a battle after... No, we don't. Are they actually going to attack? Someone's claims Sword of Cain.
I must keep my holy vow. No!
I think maybe I'll just
Can I
rally
help?
out and attack them here.
She speaks, I listen.
It feels like, yeah, I have a pretty reasonable advantage. They're Knights of the Realm, they're anti-large, so I don't want to go up against them with my cavalry. They also have a trebuchet, which I wish they didn't, and they have Pegasus Knights, which... Let's do it. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? So it's not a very featured battlefield, although I am seeing that there's one impassable thing, and I'm always tempted to use an impassable thing to turn it into a flank defense. So it's this rock is the impassable thing. They've put their trebuchets out on a limb. So it'll be costly, but let's go kill them. My trebuchet is going to focus on... You know what? Yeah, I'm going to go like here. And I'm not going to use this as a direct flank blocker. I'm not going to kind of push right up against it, but I am going to use it to sort of limit the size of my flank. My reinforcements are coming from over here, so maybe I will try and turn the battle... I can't really bring the battle down into this valley. Let's put these guys on some flanks. I have the smaller infantry army, as it stands here. Nope. You should stay with the... No, in fact, both of you guys, given that I am... he calls himself legendary, love it. Given that I'm going for a bold, arguably bad idea tactic here, I think, yeah, I'm playing on some hard difficulty. Are you all in? Yeah. So let's group you and are you close enough in that you can do this?
It is
Let's do it.
Awaiting orders! Hastily! Hide them down!
Okay, they are pulling away,
Direct my blade!
so I'm going to pull back away as well. You guys, I want a melee front. Go like here. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's exactly what you weren't supposed to do.
Repulse the Lyonnais!
Okay, these guys have successfully got rid of the trebuchet. That's good. They can actually also go for a probably not very effective, but sneaky little charge into them. No, don't attack my trebuchet! Oh, please don't kill my trebuchet. That's one of my best things. There's a lot happening in this battle.
Divine fury!
These guys might be about to break. There's not much I can do about that. You guys are anti-large, so that's perfect for that. Trebuchet guys, if you would like to stop breaking, that would be just swell. Did you run at them? Feels like you didn't. Oh no, you got stuck on the Pegasus Knights. Are you back? No, not yet. Okay. We've kind of brought this back under control. You guys are about to run into a battle, so that's cool of you. Thanks for that.
Ever faithful! For justice! We serve the lady! For honor!
This is one of those situations where I'm mostly hoping that everything will just work its way out on its own, and that probably isn't true. Are you fighting someone? Fight there. But let's turn these guys around so they can fire at them. Seems to be going okay. I think it's all going to be fine. For as much as it will do, there we go. Everyone's starting to break. Let's make sure I've got one on each. Really run them down. Forge into the back of these guys. You guys can turn around a bit. And probably friendly fire my own troops. Oh, there we go. Victory. So they will escape with a bunch of archers. Not ideal. So let's try and hit them archers with trebuchet. Otherwise, it's probably just running everyone down. Which, do I have any spare? Yeah, I've got some horses here. Which horses are you? These guys. How are you doing for energy? You're exhausted. Everyone's probably exhausted. I make everybody run all the time. I'm a terrible general in terms of preserving the energy of my troops. Like, look at how slowly these guys are now. They're just like, oh, don't make us run uphill. God, beautiful, beautiful livery though. I wonder. So I'm more and more of the opinion that basically the GameCube, that whatever you want to name the era, but the GameCube era was the turning point where video game graphics, though they can improve, at some point it becomes an act of polishing rather than an act of evolution. And a lot of old games have everything in them to be made beautiful. It's just increasing the quality of the textures, increasing the complexity of the lighting. Well, these horses kind of hop in on them. Is that a thing war horses are trained to do, to jump as they go into the charge? Makes sense, I guess. Alright, no need to play this out on normal speed, given that I think it's just these guys left. Everyone else seems to have stopped. You can stop. There's all these things you kind of like, you're never told, but you sort of assume when playing games, particularly as a child. Like, my partner right now is, I'm trying to gently encourage her to explore the world of games without pushing it too hard, because, you know, it's a particular choice, it's a hobby, not everyone has to love them, but there's a lot in them that, from the outside, the world of gaming is this weird thing where you're like, why do people spend their Saturdays making a bunch of horses jump on a bunch of people and fighting with monsters and stuff like that? And so I'm encouraging us to play all these games, and one thing that it's doing is it's reminding me of all of my past going through games and learning about games, and there's a lot that has been really interesting to think about and to feel being replayed, and one of those is remembering how terrible I was at games as a child, because everyone is bad at them. They're complex, and you spend a lot of the amount of time might differ for different people, but the first few years gaming, having no idea what you're doing, and you enter a game like my first Total War game was Medieval 2, and I remember I liked archers because I got to kill people without getting killed at all, and my armies were entirely peasants and archers, and I was like, why do I keep losing? And amongst other things, you get all these weird suspicions. Like, I used to have this suspicion that if you kept your army running about, more of them would die. Which makes sense, and this is one of the things that I think really good game design does excellently. It tries to make sure that any reasonable conclusion that someone might draw is actually reflected in the game mechanics. But it makes sense that if you make wounded people run about in the desert a lot, they're more likely to not survive until the next battle. But that's not in the mechanics, that's a really nuanced thing, and it could actually, even if you're trying to code it up, you could find that there's times where it leads to really insensible results.
Freedom can be bought.
I'll offer them redemption. Confident attacker. Her aura getting bigger is kind of a big thing, because I think we can sort of try and have the whole world within her aura. I'm gonna push up. Nope. Click on the button, damn it. There we go.
The Leoness! The lady calls me.
You dishonor me.
The lady is watching.
So even though this is a completely, we know what the result is going to be battle, I'm going to play it because I just want to, I'm still trying to work out how to deal with missile cavalry.
Now to battle for Britannia.
And I don't have a good solution, apart from prioritize them with my own missiles. I'd like to at some point make a podcast or YouTube video or something. Who knows? A poorly thought through essay or something about watching my partner learning and experiencing games for the first time, because I think there's a lot. I know I say this myself, but a lot of interesting stuff in there. These guys have shields, so they can be my first line of defense. You guys can hang out on the wings, just in case they try and flank. That's group 1. Let's get together the strongest remaining units. Have you as group 2, and then you guys are my backup as group 3.
We serve the king.
But another thing that I've experienced is that one of the things, because she's been around video games a lot of her life, her younger brother and her used to play video games together, but I get the feeling, chatting about that time, that it really felt like it was he who had control of the situation. And it reveals this quite negative, imperfect gendering of games by this assumption that games are for boys. And one of the places that I've seen that reinforces this assumption is that games are hard and you're bad at them. And you're not bad at them because you're a person who is bad at games. You're bad at them because everyone is bad at games. I'm going to send these guys out first. I'm going to pull these guys back a little bit. Games are hard and complex and just a completely new experience. Can I catch him? It's so satisfying. It's so much more satisfying than perhaps it should be. No, I can't catch him. So instead I'm going to prioritize being near the Pegasus Knights. And when I use missile cavalry, it feels like it achieves very little, and when my enemies use missile cavalry, it feels like it's a complete thorn in my side. Although it is true that these guys are barely changing the health. Let's just pull these guys back. I actually want my my archers to be firing on them. Oh, what a life this person leads. He's just like, yeah, I can take it, I can do it. Oh, I got this. Let's charge him, and then let's get the archers focusing on who the archers should be focusing on, and the trebuchets actually. Oh no, you archers actually focus on these guys. And then and this is a thing that I also see in the world of science, world of mathematics, world of physics. This denial of things being hard. And this idea that there's some kind of innate ability, and this, it makes sense to me. Like, it's not crazy to me that this is a response that is common. But it's so prevalent, a picture that there's some kind of innate ability, and having been at what you might call the forefront of physics the forefront of. I'm not a great gamer. I've been playing it all my life. I've watched quite a lot of great gamers, but knowing what real skill at games looks like, I come from a family of artists who are thought of as people ask, like, how did you get so good at drawing? How did you get so good at painting? And I've never found anyone who really has incredible natural skill at something who doesn't say, I enjoyed it and I worked at it. Ability at something is enjoying it and working at it. Or even, for some people, not enjoying it and working at it. It's like some people push through not enjoying something to find ability at it. And I think it's very rare to find people who enjoy something who don't have ability at it. Often, there are some times where, like particularly maths is a place where you see this happening all the time. People will say that they love the idea of maths and they like what they know of maths, but they don't feel like they have any ability with it. And that's a real emotion, a real experience, but it is also one that's coming from within, and is often referencing actually that they have sectioned off in their heads and in their culture what maths is, almost as the thing which is not for them.
You serve the lady now.
You guys can have some more redemption. Oh, what did we get?
As you say.
We got enemy siege lifted. Terrifying Mask of E. Great.
The
That's
lady
really good,
calls
actually.
me.
Causes fear and causes terror. Fantastic. I could get that. It's not so worth it. Because this right here, this and this and this, it is fun and it is a complex mess. And deriving fun from it requires at the very least not feeling attacked by the complexity of the mess. But feeling attacked by the complexity of the mess, particularly if you have already been culturally inclined to feel like the thing is challenging you and maybe it's not your place and maybe you aren't good enough for it, you have your pride, you have your emotion invested in it. Well, that's a way to reinforce not feeling able to learn it, because the way to learn this, like, I still don't know what half these things mean. I've played the game, I've read the thing, I've watched YouTube tutorials, I've put thousands of hours into these games, and I still basically am like, well, do I want melee attack or melee defense? I don't know. Do I want armor, hit points, or melee defense? It's got a lot of melee defense. I think I maybe want that.
The lady brought us victory.
Missile resistance, not that important. Melee defense keeps going up. Seems good. Melee attack. No, your melee defense is quite low. Let's really just push it up.
Ready.
I see a lot of people around me. One of the reasons that I think of this quite as much as I do, who feel like they can never learn something. People lose faith in their ability to learn something. Do you want to trade with me now? They want to trade with me! They arbitrarily have decided, like, yeah, okay, yeah, we could both benefit from this.
To war!
Shall we?
Because when we decide that something is beyond us, too difficult for us, we exclude ourselves from it, and we exclude ourselves from the things in it. And I think it is completely fair to see video games as part of literature, but they're a part of literature which it is so easy to be excluded from, to feel like it's not actually open to you. Exactly the same I see in mathematics. Mathematics is a way of thinking. It is an epistemology. And it's really easy to feel like it's not open to you, that you're not you're not one of the people it's for. You're not allowed or supposed to think that way.
This victory is just one step.
It's this self-enforced limiting that's not the fault of the individual, but it comes from the individual. It's culturally taught, it's reinforced by culture, but it is of the individual more than anything else.
Réponse de Lyon.
That's a sad thing to talk about while playing a silly game. Well, it's not sad. It's a preventable, interesting problem, a common phenomenon.
Taking up positions. Is it time?
Oh, I can only have one of. So given that I'm going up against a bunch of undead, probably better to have fire arrows, because the undead have a lot of That's kind of what my channel is. Welcome to my TED Talk while I play some weird, well, not weird, but like some game in the background that feels so incongruous with what I'm doing. All of this stuff goes onto YouTube just so I have a place to store it. More than anything, because I just realised sometime last year that I was having a lot of memory loss, and I wanted a record of some of my thoughts. So it goes onto YouTube, and I'm tempted to just go and clip out just the. God, this is hard. I'm trying to. Okay, this one. I'm trying to frame the screen. Just clip out this bit and have a weirdly low resolution video blog and pretend that it isn't me playing a game at the same time. Because, for exactly the reasons I was just talking, for some people, the fact that there's a game going on in the background invalidates or makes them think at least that what I'm saying doesn't apply to them. I never know, and like you presumably get this as well. I never know how much people are listening when I know they're like in the channel, I know they're viewing, but quite a lot of the people who come by tell me that they'll put me on and then start playing some other game. So I never know how invested they are, like whether they're actually hearing all this or whether I'm effectively talking to myself. Because I record everything for YouTube, it kind of isn't like I'm like I'm talking to myself, because I'm kind of talking to a possible future audience on YouTube, but I don't know. It's hard to tell. I think that there's a bit of style to a low resolution camera, and I don't know. Showy on head. I don't know her work, but I can imagine that it's actually quite part of her image, part of her, to use the most awful way of saying this, brand, to have something in low resolution. This actually is it says it's a 720p camera. I'm not sure I really believe it. It doesn't seem to produce the best image. I'd like to work out, you might know this, I'd like to put some filters on it to make I think one of the best ways to hide imperfectness of your tools is to make your output more abstract. So I'd like to think about having the me bit on the stream in black and white or something like that. But I'm not really sure how to do that. It probably is doable. Probably is doable in Streamlabs, in fact. Let's just see right now if I can work it out in like 2 clicks. Black and white I can definitely do. Partial. That didn't seem to do much. Full. Default. Color space. Oh my god. I have no idea what these options are doing. Configure video? Oh, hello, it's over here now. I can I could probably just put the... Oh, I can put the contrast way up. Yeah, I'm going to play about with this for a sec. Apologies. Well, you know. Flip image horizontally. You know what? That's pretty good, because now my left hand's on the left. That's a really good idea. Zoom? Yeah, zoom right in. That's good. Power line frequency. Wow. I can choose between what frequency the local power lines are. Reason being that actually we can't see it because it's happening 50 or 60 times a second, but all the lights in the room, particularly if they're old-fashioned bulbs, will be flickering at a particular frequency, and the camera can adjust to that. Extended settings. Enable face tracking. Do I want to enable face tracking? Enable picture-in-picture. Why would I want this? Okay, let's turn off that. I don't know why I would do face tracking. If I want black and... Whoa! No, that's not what I want. Wow, this camera has some... Oh, it's deciding how much exposure to get. I think that's auto exposure that I just put on. I don't know how to just turn off color. Oh, there we go. That's black and white. I might go with that. Anything else? Let's really contrastify myself. Now hue doesn't matter, which makes sense because there's no color. Sharpness. Soft or grainy? I quite like grainy. Gamma. Gotta get that gamma. Backlight compensation. Lots or none. Wow. Too much. And I quite like having a lot of contrast. What do we think? Everything working? Yep, yep, yep. It's a bit over the top. I'll probably play about with it again later, but in some ways, just having someone like in the chat who thinks about this kind of stuff makes me more inclined to do some fixing of it myself. I think for Total War, maybe it's better if my face is up here. I think this is too much contrast. I'm going to put it down a little bit. I've crashed. Everything has crashed. Oh, hey Lewis. I am messing about with what I look like. Here we go. What if I'm almost black and white? Oh, I quite like that. Yeah, like low color. Low color, high contrast. Done. Well, in some ways, like I don't really know what the average age of Twitch streamers or Twitch viewers are, but I feel old on Twitch. I even feel a bit old on YouTube, even though I know that actually most people who are making much impact on YouTube, having like reliable followings, are still older than me. I was watching a H-Bomber guy video recently, and he revealed that he's 27, which is as old as I am. which should make me feel okay. But I'm also like, well, but he produces really good stuff and has a following, and I'm not even sure I want a following. I don't know if that's why I'm doing this, but I had that moment. Do you ever have that like completely from nowhere envy? You're suddenly like, I don't want this thing, but I don't want other people to have it. I realised after revealing that I feel too old for a thing, and then revealing that I'm only 27, which I do realise is basically pretty young. I might have turned a moment there of you being like, oh, yeah, I feel the same, to being like, I can't believe this child. Oh yeah, give me a military alliance. Oh no. Can't believe this child feels old when he is, to quote Friends, in the prime of life. Oh, maybe everyone doing this, maybe everyone in this gig is 27. Like, this is... So in my spare time, when I'm not doing astrophysics, I've been studying and thinking about, like, how ideas are generated and spread from a kind of physical-ish perspective, and trying to see if there is such a thing as universal rigorous law here. Anyway, all this to say that one thing that I've realised is that it's quite possible for a really narrow generation of people to all have the same shared experience at some point, and for it to send them all in the same direction. So maybe 27 is the wake up and start creating content age. This is definitely true. There's a Twitter thread I think about a lot. I can't remember who it was by, but it was someone who I would guess is in their late 30s, early 40s, basically saying, "Dear young people, stop making things that are so good." Oh, I'm being called to lunch. Let me finish this thought and then I'm going to head off. Stop making things that are so good. Make crap. Make things that are scrappy, messy, a complete all over the place, because that's how you learn what to make, and that's how you have ideas of making new things. This person was basically reacting to saying, like, I see people who are so young making things of such high quality, and whilst it is a real sign that you've mastered something and you've put the effort in, it also is a sign that you're not really mastering your own craft so much as mastering copying someone else's. And it's exactly the same thing as I was saying before. I don't really believe in a picture of natural talent here. Young people who are making really quality stuff, they completely deserve to be congratulated for this, but they've put in the time and effort to learn how to make really good stuff. And they've probably done that because they've probably enjoyed doing that, or probably see reward in doing that. I don't know about you, but I have no belief that I'm ever going to be rich off Twitch. I don't think that that's something that's going to be part of my world. I hope it might connect me with other people who are interested in the kind of things I'm interested in, who maybe are interested in exploring different ways to learn, including, like, I think you can get a lot of knowledge into people's heads quite surreptitiously without... That sounds a bit like a brainwashing, but you can help people learn, like, some maths that would otherwise be tricky to learn by it being the side quest going on over a piece of more engaging, like watching a bunch of horses charging into each other. Yeah, no, I do actually have to go to lunch, but I feel bad that I'm not making high quality content. I feel a bit worried when I see people making great things who are of the same kind of age and demographic as me, but I'm actually not sure, if I examine it, if I want to be making really high quality things, if I want to be playing this part of like the absolute best person. Who knows? It's really my conclusion. Who knows? It's been a pleasure to chat with you. I will probably come back after lunch, but I'm going to end the stream here If nothing else, because that means it ends a YouTube video, and otherwise the YouTube videos end up being like 3 hours long, and the percent of a percent chance that someone might actually watch them decreases by another order of magnitude. Again, not sure I want anyone to watch them, but I don't necessarily want them not to watch them. Who knows? Thanks. Yeah, see you around.